Tick tock, tick tock.
I am a...
What's up guys, this is Keisha Limited and I'm back with another video for you guys, and in this video I'm going to be giving my thoughts and impressions on the new Attack on Titan trailer that was released for the final season, or season 4. Now before I get into it, just to tell you, I am caught up with the series in the manga, so you know, I read the news chapter and I know exactly what's going on. Now, first things first, what is my overall opinion on the trailer? Overall, I think it looks beautiful. It looks really good. Even more than the animation, I really love the music. It freaking hits hard. I love the music in the trailer. And I think the animation style looks really good. The art style looks really good. And it actually does cater to my personal likes of animation. Compared to the older one, but there are some things I kind of don't like about it, and I'll be going into it. But first, let's get into the facts of the trailer. The biggest difference, obviously, is the animation studio that's creating the final season of Attack on Titan. Now, I kind of got tipped off to this a couple of days before the trailer came out through some Instagram posts of those anime pages that give facts, saying that there'd be a new animation studio. I thought that was just some fake news because I'm like, I can't see that happening with Studio, which is an animation studio for seasons 1 to 3. They've been working on it for so long, and I feel like for the final season they would do it too, right? But obviously that's not the case. Based on what I read online, it seems like Wit Studio still is assisting the new studio, which is Mappa Studio, on animating the new season. So that's good, and it seems like Wit Studio, does have full intentions of making sure the final season is good, and the reason they weren't able to do it was because they're working more on their own original anime, and they want to focus on that. If you have any more information on that, let me know down in the comments. I'm kind of interested in knowing kind of what's going on there, but from my understanding, that's what's going on. Wit is kind of busy right now, so they give it on to Mappa and are going to be assisting them in creating it. And another fact about this trailer is that you can't really judge how the anime is going to look based on this trailer, solely based on this trailer. What I mean is, you can kind of get the animation style that I'm pretty sure is reflective of what the anime is, but you have to understand it's been confirmed that the trailer was pre-animated, and what that means is that everything you see in the trailer was animated solely for the trailer. So it's not like Mappa Studio had these scenes animated for the anime and then they cut it up to this trailer. It was that they were given this trailer and they were animating those scenes specifically for this trailer. And when we actually get to the anime, Mappa is most likely going to reanimate those scenes you saw. So whether that means those scenes are going to look better in the actual anime or worse in the actual anime, we don't know. And I kind of had a hunch that was going to happen because, if you look at most of the scenes in the anime, most of them are static scenes. A lot of them are just basically a picture or a picture with some things moving. There's only a few dynamic scenes, the Attack Titan and Armor Titan fighting. But other than that, it is mostly static. And yeah, so that's something to keep in mind, that it is pre-animated. And if you want to know a bit more about Mappa, you can search their studio up in my anime list. You could kind of see what anime they make. I have a few listed down here. They animated Yuri on Ice, Dororo, and Zankyou no Terror. They've actually animated a lot of kind of known anime. For some reason, I actually haven't seen any anime from them, even though I've watched a lot of anime. So I may get to that at some point, or Attack on Titan will probably be the first one. But yeah, based on the track record, it seems like they do a good job, because I know people do like the looks of a lot of the anime they've worked on. So let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of this video. What do I actually think about the trailer, or more specifically, the visual style of this trailer? Because online, I've seen it's been pretty decisive, where some people like it, some people don't, and those people like or don't like it for specific reasons. Now, first of all, like I mentioned before, the style of the art now is something that I do prefer, which is pretty much, I've seen a lot of anime going to the style is where the art is a lot more softer in its colors and lines, and the line art is more dynamic, and the colors are soft and more pastel-like, I'd say. That's the best way I can find to explain it. If you want more examples of what I mean is, One Piece recently moved to this type of style. Dragon Ball Super Broly, that movie is in this style. So that type of style is kind of what Attack on Titan is moving towards too now. And like I said, that's something that I prefer. And in terms of that alone, I do really like how this looks. Another important thing is that Mappa style is a lot more closer to the actual manga and how that looks. If you haven't read the manga, here are some screenshots spoiler free. I'll probably just post screenshots of like what were in the trailer or like of old scenes. You may have noticed when you watch this trailer that a lot of characters look very different from what you're used to. Namely, the one that probably is the most decisive is Mikasa, as you can see here. And you know, you've seen like a lot of people saying like, oh, why does she look like a man? Why does she look so different? The thing is, and those people have been, you know, kind of blaming it on Mappa and saying why they changed her so much. The thing is, that's how she looks in the manga, and that's how she's looked for a while. The reason why the initial 3 seasons look different from this season is that Isayama, the mangaka who, you know, writes and draws for Attack on Titan or Shingeki no Kyojin, the manga, he's been drawing it for more than 10 years, and over the 10 years, you got to kind of expect him to evolve. And over the 10 years, he's evolved his art style and has gotten a lot better. And over that, he has slightly changed the designs of all the characters over time. And now what we have now is what you see in the newest Attack on Titan trailer. And the only reason it looks so jarring in the anime is because WIT hasn't really been evolving their style along with Isayama. They have slowly been adding more details from the manga, I've noticed, like things such as like the way people smile or kind of move. It is more similar to the manga. But in terms of actual like character design, they have kept it pretty much the same since the start. The way Mikasa looks, the way Eren looks, Armin looks, etc. And Mappa, since it is a final season and since, you know, the characters are older in this, I guess it just made sense for Mappa to use the characters from the manga, because if they didn't, they would pretty much have to make their own character designs based on them being older, based on how they look in the anime, which is kind of weird. So yeah, the most sensible thing is to use how they look like in the manga, which can be jarring for people who only watch the anime, because if you go from season 3 to season 4, they look kind of different. Now, in terms of whether I like this shift to be close to the manga style, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Now, like I said, I've been reading the manga pretty much since mid-high school, which is I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I've been used to the art style, of course. And like I said, Isayama has gotten much better in his art style, but even though he has gotten better, I still think that he has a lot of faults in his art style that should not be copied to the anime. A couple of things or like nitpicks I have about his style is that his character sometimes, first of all, his art style is a bit rough, but that's something, you know, a lot of mangaka have. But another thing is that his characters are kind of stiff sometimes, and it's kind of weird to say in like a manga where like people don't have movement, but like sometimes the poses he draws characters in are kind of stiff, and when the anime kind of copy those poses into the anime, they end up kind of looking stiff. And I noticed that over time from season 1 to 3, WIT Studio, as they were evolving their kind of animation style, they were getting a bit more stiff. Some of the animation was looking a bit off, and some of the colors were actually looking a bit more sterile and kind of less punchy. And the reason for that is because Isayama has been giving notes to WIT Studio and changing it to be closer to the manga. And weirdly, because of those notes, I think the anime has kind of gotten worse in terms of how it looks. And you can kind of see, if you look at a screenshot from season 1, season 2, and season 3, you can kind of see what I mean. One of the main differences is that the line widths become a lot more thin and less dynamic. You can see the colors become less punchy and more white lit, or, you know, less saturated. And apparently, like, a lot of these notes were from Isayama, and that was to, like I said, match the manga. And that is something I don't really like too much. So in terms of actually like the technical aspect of line width and color, I liked how WIT Studio was doing it before, but since they were kind of getting more close to the manga, it was kind of getting sterile and boring. And I'm kind of happy Mappa is kind of reinvigorating that. They are close to the manga in terms of art style, but in terms of like technical, you know, like technical things like the line art, the color, and the texture of the drawing, they made it their own style in a new way, which I really appreciate. And one last thing I want to mention is, like I said, Mappa is following the manga more closely, and not only are they, you know, following the art style more closely, at least in the trailer, they are following the paneling of the manga a lot more closely. So what WIT was really good at was that they were really good at transferring the medium of manga to anime and making it a lot more dynamic, you know, making the action scenes look really cool and kind of framing things in a more dynamic way. So hopefully Mappa, they were, you know, copying these panels for the key moments that you see in the trailer, but hopefully they do kind of keep WIT's flair in terms of being very dynamic with scenes and kind of, you know, giving their own individual touch to how things are framed and paneled in their own way. That's pretty much all I have to say on this. Like I said, overall, I really love what Mappa's doing with it. In terms of following the manga style, I do like it to a point, but at the end of the day, they are copying like little kind of things that I don't really like from Isayama style, such as like the way characters like clench their teeth. That's a very weird nitpick, but like this scene of Armin in the trailer where he's, you know, clenching his teeth, I'm not sure what emotion that's supposed to convey. That's exactly how like they clenched their teeth in the manga, and they started doing. And Wit Studio actually started doing this too, like in season 3 of the anime. I think Mikasa was doing that. But yeah, I have no idea what emotion that's supposed to convey. I don't know if he's excited or mad or anything. It just looks like he's doing this, which I don't know what that means. But yeah, that's just one small nitpick and like detail about Isayama style I've noticed, and there's other little things like that. But since that's being copied to the anime, you gotta kind of get used to it, and that's one of the negative aspects of it. But other than that, in terms of the looks, in terms of the animation, I really love where it's going, and trust me, this season is gonna blow everyone's mind. If you have any opinions on the trailer in terms of the art style or anything related to it, let me know down in the comments below. I'm kind of curious to what everyone thinks, and if you actually haven't read the manga, I really want your opinion even more, because I want to know, like, how was this trailer for you? Do you think it was too spoilery? You know, as a manga reader, I feel like they showed like a lot, but I won't go any deeper than that. But yeah, please let me know what you thought of the trailer in terms of like, if you thought it was really cool, if you thought it was too much, if you thought it wasn't enough. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you thought about the trailer overall in terms of story and, you know, art style. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up all my thoughts on the trailer. So thank you all for watching.
Tick tock.
I am a